Hello, 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 Facebook. Hello, 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 Facebook. Welcome to this edition of Office Hours with Lanora. Office Hours with Lanora is a series that I created to help others seeking information about options to becoming pre-licensed or not pre-licensed, to be licensed in the industry, as well as those that have already started a pre-licensing course and moving on to a licensing exam. My goal is to help you pass that exam on a first attempt. And then finally, those that have already started a career in real estate, actively licensed and practicing, I want to help you stay in the business. Today's episode of Office Hours with Lenora, you see my guest, my favorite, or one of my favorites, because I think Leo and some other instructors get there too, is Miss Risa Weiss Kallis, Mrs. Risa Weiss Kallis. And Risa will be our guest today. She is one of the instructors over at the Realtors Real Estate School. She does teach pre-licensing classes, a ton of them, as well as continuing education classes for our students. And we're going to talk about today how to pass your pre-licensing course. And Risa, welcome to the Office Hours with Lenora series. How are you, Risa?
Lenora, I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here with you. It's always a pleasure to be with you, as well as talk about my favorite topic, pre-licensing.
Awesome. So, Risa, I have a few questions that I'd like to ask. We'll answer any questions that you all type into the chat here after the actual segment is over. That way I can make sure that we focus on them. But the first question that I would like to ask you, Risa, is what makes you choose a career in real estate?
You know, that's a really funny question because I didn't really choose it. My story goes like this. I had a full career in education. I was a teacher. I was an administrator. I even started a private school. And at one point in my life, I broke my foot and I had to have surgery and my foot was up in the air. And my husband, knowing that I can't sit still for 6 months, said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I don't know. Let's take an online class." And next door, somebody was selling their property. I said, "Well, maybe I'll just get a license in real estate." I had no idea what I was doing. I had experience of only buying my own house. And so while my foot was in the air for 6 months, I studied, self-study, and passed the exam as soon as I was told I could walk. And really and truly, I'm going to be honest, I was an agent that had zero sphere. It was back in the dark ages. There was no social media. And I had just moved here from Las Vegas. And what was super exciting is I loved this business so much that I created some systems and tools and methods and created a lot of success my first year. And well, I was the rookie of the year.
I didn't even know that about your foot, Risa. That takes me back down memory lane because it's almost been a year since I tore my Achilles. So we have something in common, even more now. All right. So let's talk about my next question to you is, now that you're a pre-licensing instructor, what are some of the things that you've seen that you feel like as a pre-licensed instructor, you can share some advice, some wisdom, some tips to help other pre-licensing students achieve this goal?
Now, first of all, I'm going to start off on saying I love instructor-led pre-licensing because having been a self-study myself, I didn't know what to study for the exam. When you're with an instructor like myself and Leo, who you mentioned, I mean, we're really going to guide you to what you need to know for the exam. But your question was, how do you create success in the pre-licensing? And I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter if you're doing it through Zoom or you're doing it in the classroom. The number one way to pass this is pay attention. Everything we're saying is important. Now, Lenora knows during my classes, when people start to derail and tell stories that are not pertinent to the test, I'm going to tell you to table it because we'll go out for drinks after you pass the exam. But during class, I want you to focus on everything we're saying. Our intonation really suggests that maybe something might be really important for the exam. Now, the other strategy I'm going to tell you is pre-licensing is all about building vocabulary in real estate. So you want to be building flashcards, whether you're, and I encourage both, the index card flashcards where you have the term on one side and the definition on the other, or a picture. And I love Quizlet, those online flashcards, to get those terms in your head. So pay attention and learn your terms.
I love it. I love it. I like to tell students it's a lot of memorization work. A lot of students want to tell me that, oh, it's math and the math is going to stunt me. And I don't know if I'm good at math. But if you are good at retention and retaining information, this should not be you reinventing the wheel. So thanks for sharing that. Risa, I know there is a little trick that you do to keep the class on pace. And although it's not meant to be, let's just say if someone starts to take us in a direction or start talking about other topics that are not real estate related, Risa is so cool, guys, that she has a way of saying, let's table that and bring it back at another time when we celebrate you passing the real estate licensing exam. I won't say what words she used because that's her thing. But what I like about Risa is she's very interactive, animated, engaging, knowledgeable. So I have you in front of me now. Do you think that this class is more interactive or engaging, or can a student just wing it?
Oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you that I once had a student sitting in the back row of a live classroom, and all he was doing was, he told me he was shopping for shoes. He didn't pass the exam. I mean, this is not a wing it situation. I mean, I'll tell you, even when I went to go take my managing brokers test, which is similar to the pre-licensing test, I couldn't wing it, even though I've been in the business for 20 years. There's a lot of vocabulary, there's a lot of content to learn, and license law is important as a real estate broker. So what we've learned though throughout the pandemic time of doing online classes is we've learned how to make this really interactive. And in my classes, what I do is I have students work together and become accountable to each other and help support each other and maybe even teach each other. So that is my goal, whether we are in the classroom live or on Zoom, you're going to be working together in groups and talking and sharing and learning together.
Yeah, Risa has one of the highest pass rates for our school as well. Her students really, really work together in study groups and even after the fact. I know that there's a social media presence for your class and those sorts of things. So she buys into, guys, she buys into your success. It's not that she's just here to teach you something. You're out of her class, you're done. There's always a follow-up experience. And that's one of the things that I like about what you do here at the Realtors Real Estate School. So kudos to you for doing that. Let's talk about the virtual class format that you teach, this Zoom webinar format that we're in right now. I know that's like a preference for me because I can get a lot more done just being from the comfort of my home versus going into a physical school. Overall, tell us how, if I'm a first-time student taking a Zoom class, Risa, and you're my instructor, what does that look like for me?
Well, the first thing is, as an instructor, I want to see your face. I want to look at your face and see if you're getting it or not. And I'm going to have you in chat room giving me answers to some questions. And if I don't really see your interaction, I am going to ask you to kind of help me out. And quite often when we're doing the math, I have students who are getting it guide us through it, because sometimes one person's explanation is not the best. And so you need multiple people to explain it. Math is often the most difficult, so I often have those student leaders in the class. But going back to what are you going to see? You're going to see faces. You're going to get to know the people that you're going to be doing business with in the future. You're going to create study groups. We do a lot of those virtually through Zoom, outside of class. You're going to have that chance to check in with me through personal messenger and chat, or I give you my phone number, my email. And I have had students call me outside of class and ask questions, and that's fine. It's absolutely fine.
I think that's the difference. I think that you pretty much answered my next question, because I wanted to know what makes the Realtors Real Estate School different than other schools. And you just said it. They can contact you. They have your cell phone number. They'll have your email number. You empower them inside of the class. So you jumped ahead and answered a question you didn't even know I was about to ask,
But
Risa.
I want to actually tell you what else makes your school different, because I work with.
Awesome.
So when I'm hiring brand new brokers, I always ask, what school are you from? And I ask them about their experience. And here's what I know. First of all, we've got outstanding instructional tools, and we are consistent across all of our instructors. So if you miss a class, you can jump into another instructor's class and you know what content it's going to be. We're all teaching the same thing. So we're speaking the same language. Second of all, we've got a learn upon environment so that you can download your materials, you can access everything you need. And our tests are online, and we use those tests for practice so that you're ready for the real exam. I mean, really and truly, let's think about this. We just had the Chicago Marathon. Think about those marathon runners. They didn't start out running a marathon. They started out with practice, and they built up slow and slow until they got faster. Well, that's what our learn upon tests are for. They're to help us practice taking a test for an hour, taking a test for 3 hours, and really building up your momentum so that you are skilled in test taking. That's what I really like about the school, besides the fact that you get to connect with Lanora. And Lenora is going to connect you with resources and tutoring, and there's even scholarships. And lastly, I think this doesn't get mentioned enough, Lenora, when students take classes at RRES, they also get a discount, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when they become a broker and they join CAR, there is a discount. So financially, it's a win-win.
It is. It is definitely a win-win. I forgot to mention that when I introduced you, Risa, because I'm so excited that you're here. Risa is the Vice President of Agent Development over at the Coldwell Banker Realty. I know Coldwell Banker because 21 years ago, almost this year, it was my first stop in the industry. So I know that you're doing a phenomenal job over there due to antitrust laws, the Chicago Association of Realtors, or the Realtors Real Estate School. We're not advocating or promoting any one particular brokerage over another one. It is completely the student's choice and licensee's choice. But Risa, I feel so good and so happy that you were able to join me on this episode of Office Hours with Lanora. Are there any other words of encouragement, advice, or anything you'd like to share with the audience before we leave?
You know, this audience is thinking about getting into a career in real estate. And I'm going to tell you, this is the best career. And there's so many different roles you can have in this career. But what I recommend you do before you take that step into real estate is talk to somebody like Lanora or me, people who have been in the industry, and ask what the real life of a real estate broker is. And really be realistic about your goals and your financial expectations, as well as, well, do you have enough money in the bank to do what you want to accomplish? But talk to people like us that have been in the business.
That's right. That's right. And I talk to a ton of people every day and share my personal experience as well as what I know from an education standpoint. Risa, I want to thank you again for taking some time out of your busy day and sitting here with me on my Office Hours with Lanora series. I really, truly appreciate you. I want to give you your flowers in front of this whole entire audience for the work and the phenomenal work that you're doing over at the Realtors Real Estate School. You'll be teaching with us. Your very next class is going to be when? Is it in January?
So I typically teach on Saturdays.
Okay.
I believe I am doing one over like Thanksgiving, Christmas. So look for the Saturday classes. That's where you'll find me.
Okay. All right. So I will be posting a link with Risa, well, with all of our schedules up above. You guys will find the blurb there. You'll see all upcoming classes. There's some information about a scholarship for pre-licensing courses will be a part of the links in the blurb above. Make sure you guys apply for these scholarships. It can make the difference in you know, not saying anything is promised or guaranteed to anyone, but it can make the difference in you guys becoming or staying in the business. If you are this alarm throws me off every time because it's from a child. But anyway, if you are considering getting in the business and you want to position yourself to be in a reimbursable point, fill out that scholarship that's due on December 1st. Risa, Ta-ta for now, my love. Thank you again. I know you got some business over there on the CB side. I'll be following up with you after this, and I got something for you in the same time. So, mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you, dear.
Thank you so much. This was super fun, and I love pre-licensing students and seeing people start a career in this awesome business.
Thank you, Risa. Ta-ta for now, my office hours with Lenora's audience. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Bye-bye.